Hello, a big hello to all of you. Today I'm going to start with the very important chapter of your class 12 syllabus, that is relation and function. That is the very first chapter and students find it very difficult. Let's see, we'll try to make it easier. Let's begin with this, right? So we'll go for a quick recap before we start with. So let us start with what is relation, right? So relation. What is a relation? First of all, you have to know what is called a relation. So just let me recap the concept what we got in class 11. A relation are on a set A, right? You must be very clear that this A is non-empty set. 2, another set B is a subset of A cross B. So all of you know what is A cross B. A cross B is Cartesian product, right? Cartesian product of two sets. So any subset of A cross B is called a relation. Okay, so now let me just try to recall what is A cross B. I am writing it here in the side, so you try to recall this. A cross B in terms of your set builder form, we can write it like this: all ordered pairs of the form AB, where A belongs to capital A and small b belongs to capital B, right? And these are ordered pairs. Why ordered pairs? Because remember, as you have written A cross B, this A should be always taken from this A only, right? There should be the correspondence places here. If A you have started with here, then this element A must be in the first place. Similarly, this B should be in the second place. That is very, very important to note it, right? So this way we find A cross B, and any subset, right? Any subset of A cross B is called a relation on a set A to the set B. So this is what we have to first understand. This is from our class 11. Now after that, you see there are two very important points to be noted, right? You have to note this very quickly and very clearly, that if this R is phi, because we are talking about subsets of this, right? So it may be a phi. So if it is phi, then it is called a null relation, right? It is called a null relation, or we call it empty relation, EMPTY, empty relation, right? Or we can use even the word void relation, right? So we have these three terminologies for a relation which is empty, right? So in the other hand, it may be also possible that your relation R is complete set A cross B, right? If this is the case, it is called a universal relation. It is called DA. Better you write DA. It is called a universal relation. It is called the universal relation, right? On A to B. So these are the things which already we got in class 11. Now apart from this, we are going to study different types of relations. That is the content of our class 12 syllabus, right? So without much delay, let us start with that part. So there are different types of relations, right? So this is Types of relations. Types of relations. There are different types of relations. Number one, it is reflexive. Reflexive relation. What is a reflexive relation? Let us try to first explore the definition, then we will take example, and then gradually we will try to understand what exactly these means to us, right? So we'll write, remember here in the relation we have domain as well as codomain, both has a same set, right? So we'll write a relation R on A. So on A means it is from A to A itself, right? So bracket I am writing here a relation to A. Okay, on A is said to be a reflexive relation. A reflexive relation if, right, A comma A belongs to R for every, right, or for all A belongs to A. So whenever you are considering a non-empty set A, for every A comma A should be belonging to R, or I must say that A is related to itself. Then we say that these kind of relations are reflexives, right? These kind of relations are said to be reflexive. Now let us go for some examples and then we will try to see the other types, right? Let us start with some examples. Example number 1, right? Let us consider the set A as set of all straight lines in a given plane, right? Set of all straight line in a given plane. We are considering set A as this. And now relation R we want to define as, say there are two lines L1 and L2. We will say that L1 and L2 are related if L1 is parallel to L2. And where from this L1 and L2 will be picked up? They will be taken from the set A. So now this relation is reflexive. Why it is reflexive? Let us explore. Let us try to understand the reason why it is reflexive, right? So you see, I am drawing it here, then it will be easier for you. If I have a line, say this is the line L, from the concept of vector, can I say that L is parallel to L? Yes, because both the lines will be having the same direction cosines, right? Because vector says us, right? So because of that, these lines will be treated as parallel, right? So I can say herely the reason as clearly for every L belonging to A, that means for every line L belonging to A, line L is parallel to L. So if this happens, I can say L comma L belongs to R, right? So this implies that R is reflexive. R is reflexive, right? That is a good example, right? Let us come to the next example. One more example we'll discuss, then we'll be going for another type. Example number 2. Set, we'll consider set A is set of all triangles in a given plane, right? Then R we want to define. R is the relation. Say triangle 1 and triangle 2. We will say that they will be related if triangle 1 is congruent to triangle 2, right? And from where we will take the triangles? The set A. So whenever we get two triangles which are congruent to each other, then we say that T1 and T2 are related, that two triangles are related. Now let us verify whether this particular relation is reflexive or not. So clearly you can see, clearly if I say triangle T1 is congruent to triangle T1, will there be any kind of contradiction? Not at all, because one triangle is always congruent to itself, right? Congruence means it is equal in all aspect. So obviously, right? So this will definitely imply T1 comma T1 belongs to R. That will tell you what? That R is reflexive, right? It's a reflexive relation. Okay, so this is the second example. One more example I would like to consider, right? One more example I would like to consider. Number 3, right? Example number 3. Say this is A set, right? Set of all natural number, set of all natural number, and the relation I would like to consider is something like this. Say two numbers A and B, they will be said to be related to each other if A divides, right, divides B, where A and B are taken from natural number n, or rather you can say set A. Now will it be reflexive? Will it be reflexive? So how do we identify whether it will be reflexive or not? Just you have to say whether A comma A belongs to R or not. Now you see clearly, for all A belongs to A, which are natural number, I can easily say that A divides A. Obviously A divides A. If A divides A, so can I directly say that A comma A belongs to R, right? And this is true for all A, right? Already we have written here. So if this is true for all A, I can say that R is reflexive, right? So these are the three examples of reflexive relation I have considered. Now I'll be going for the another type 2, right? Next type of relation. Next type is symmetric relation. Symmetric relation. Now what is a symmetric relation? Let us first see the definition, then we will try to explore these examples, right? A relation R on A is said to be symmetric, right? Symmetric if A comma B belongs to R implies that B comma A also belongs to R, and this should happen for all AB belongs to A. That means for AB which are belonging to A, if A comma B is in R, necessarily we should have B comma A in R. If this is the case, then we say that this kind of relations are symmetric. Now let us pick up some examples, right? Example number 1. Okay, in earlier all cases we have written the relations as R, but in future reference it will be difficult, so this time onwards I will be writing R1, R2, etc., so that you will be convenient to refer to the relations, right? Say R1 I want to define, right? Here L1 and L2 are two lines. I will write the set here now. They will be said to be related if they are perpendicular. and L1 and L2 are taken from the set A. Now of course I have to write what is set A, where it is the set of all straight lines in a given plane, right? All the straight line in a given plane. So now can we say that this relation is symmetric? Yes, we can say. Why we can say? You just observe it. Now you see, for all L1 and L2 belonging to A, right? If I say L1 and L2 is in R, then I should get what? L1 perpendicular to L2, isn't it? Definition only says. Okay. Now if you know that the line L1 is perpendicular to line L2 from your earlier classes, maybe 6, maybe 7, can you say that L2 is also perpendicular to L1? Yes, that's true, because you see I am drawing a figure. Say this is L1 and this is L2. L1 is perpendicular to L2, means angle should be 90 degree. In other way, L2 is also perpendicular to L1 because angle is 90 degree. So this happens. If this happens in the other way, I can say L2 comma L1 belongs to R. So now the concluding step is what? L1 L2 belongs to R implies L2 comma L1 belongs to R, and this happens for all such L1 and L2 belonging to A. So what will be your good conclusion? That R is symmetric, right? R is symmetric. So that's a good example of symmetric relation. One more example let us discuss. Example number 2, R2, right? R2. Fine. Now let us see a very important example. Now see, there is a very good importance of this particular example when we will discuss the other types. Say two numbers A comma B are related, we say, if A minus B is divisible by, okay, let us write 2 only, where A and B we want to pick from set of integer I, this is I. Okay, so now we have to see whether this particular relation is symmetric or not. So let us try. Okay, for A comma B belongs to R2, right? For A comma B belongs to R2, what we should get? A minus B is divisible by 2. Okay, very nice. If it is divisible by 2, can we say that the negative of this number will be also divisible by 2? Yes, we can say easily that this is also divisible by 2, right? This is divisible by 2 in which particular set? In the set of integer. Remember it, result should be in the integer. So this happens. Now if we simplify, we can say that this is also divisible by 2 in integer. Very nice. So what we can say from here? This belongs to R2. Thus, what conclusion you can bring down now? A comma B belongs to R2 implies B comma A belongs to R2, and this happens for all A and B belonging to the set of integer. So what do you say about R2? What conclusion you can say? R2 is symmetric. R2 is symmetric. So that is another example where we can use the symmetric relation, right? So now let's move on to the third type of relation. Type number 3, that is transitive relation. Transitive relation, right? Transitive relation. What is a transitive relation now, right? Transitive, the word transitive is actually derived from the word transition. So you will be able to understand now if I write the definition. A relation R on A is called to be a transitive relation if A comma B belongs to R and B comma C belongs to R, implies A comma C belongs to R, and this should happen for all such triplet belonging to the set A. Okay, whenever A is related to B and B is related to C, then I should get A should also be related to C. In what way? That we'll see the criteria, right? I'll just try to draw a rough figure. Say this is A, this is B, this is C. If I can say A is related to B and B is related to C, then there should be a relation from A to C. That means A should be related to C with the same criteria. Then we say that this is a transitive relation, right? So now let us discuss an example. This time I'll take R3. Example number 1, say R3. Relation 3 I am going to consider. Okay, I have A comma B where A and B are related. If I write A less than or equal to B, and I want to pick A and B from the set of natural number, right? A is less than or equal to B. A may be equal to B, A may be less than B, may be both true, right? So am I clear to you? So now let us just try to see whether these particular conditions will be satisfied by this relation or not. If it is, then it will be what type of relation? It will be a transitive relation. Let us try. Okay, now please see the way I am writing, because there is a very important observation also from the examiner, the way you write the answer, right? So I am considering at the beginning that AB is in R3, BC is also in R3. Okay, then what will it imply? A, B belonging to R3 means A is less than or equal to B. This implies B is less than or equal to C. Fine. Now you see, just for your reference, it is not a very difficult task to visualize, but still I am doing it for you. Say A and B are two natural number, so I'll not go beyond this side. 0 is also not included. From 1 only natural number starts. I have just marked a 0. So A and B, two numbers where B is either greater than A or maybe equal to A. So let us consider greater than only to observe. Say B is somewhere here and A is here. Now if B is less than or equal to C, so C will be either here or maybe here, say here. Now what you can say very clearly, C is always tending to the right of A. Always tending to the right of A. What does it mean? It means that A will be always less than C, because C is always standing in the right of or to the right of A. Or maybe worst case that C and A are both equal, right? So these two conditions. So if this happens, what conclusion I can get? I can say A comma C also belonging to R. So now write the concluding step. What will be the concluding step? A comma B belonging to R3, B comma C belonging to R3 will imply that A comma C also belong to R3, and this is true for all such ABC, right? All such ABC which will satisfy these things, right? A means here it is natural number. Okay. So what will be your conclusion? R3 is transitive, right? R3 is transitive, right? So for a moment I'll stop here. This is the beginning. You go through this, then we'll come to the next tutorial very shortly. Okay, bye.